Yes. So our friends at General Motors have been teasing us for months about the resurgence of the Hummer brand. And, well, the first couple entrances were lackluster. They were trying to tease. There was just a little too much teasing. Basically, we got lights. Then we got a logo. Then we got a wheel. Yesterday, they spent 7 minutes doing their product overview, and then they turned it over to the YouTubers, which was an interesting but better uh, experience than what they gave us last time. So what they showed us was the new Hummer electric truck. It's a 2022 model year. It's completely sold out for the first edition, and it's got some awesome specs, like 1,000 horsepower, removable skylight moonroofs. They come out in 4 sections. It's got what they call the crab walk, where all 4 wheels can turn together, kind of like they had in the mid '90s, but digital now. Yeah, yeah, and so it can turn tighter. It's more agile, more nimble.
Yeah. Did they say how many reservations they were allowing for the first edition?
They did not. They just said they sold them out.
Yeah. GM was very coy about saying that they'd sold out of the EV1 edition, but they didn't say if that was.
I think it's 7 or 8.
Or
it's got to be
1,000 or 1,000,000.
It's got to be at least 1,000 if they, this is GM we're talking about. And so I learned this morning that what I saw was actually a digital creation. There was not an actual prototype. It wasn't quite a
it was Photoshop?
No, it wasn't Photoshop. It wasn't as bad as the Gravity Assist tractor trailer that we saw a couple weeks ago. But it was definitely had an asterisk on it, artist interpretation.
Wait. You mean to tell me that when the demonstration video, when it shows the vehicle breaking the sound barrier, you mean that wasn't real? Because I really thought that was real.
I thought
not that part, but I thought that the driving on a beach and crawling up rocks, that might have been the prototype. Like our friends at Rivian have shown us prototypes doing that. So I figured, GM, they know how to build off-road vehicles. They've done it before. Why would I think this is a digital creation? Mm-hmm. I was wrong. Yeah.
So can you describe crab walk?
Crab walk is where all 4 wheels will turn the same way, and the car will move at about a 45-degree angle. I'm not quite sure the utility of it.
Call that 4-wheel steering.
Yeah, GM had it in the early to mid '90s, and this seems to be a digital version of that hydraulic system that they used to have.
This is a little different. Like with 4-wheel steering, when you have something really big, you use that and you turn the front and the rear in different directions, so that
it does that too.
Comes around.
Mm-hmm.
The crab walk that I saw was for rock crawling, and if you needed to move just to your left, you could do that at a 45-degree angle without. So the whole thing moves sideways, so you could get around like a rock or a tree stump or something.
Mm-hmm.
It has limited use, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So if they had it in the early '90s and they stopped it, there must have been like.
Well, it was hydraulic and it was moving parts, and computers were expensive back then.
It didn't work very well. I think
that's probably the real reason.
It worked very well. It worked well for a little while, and then it broke.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was expensive, a lot of warranty.
Yeah, it's probably a big warranty, not a warranty necessarily, but definitely that. But probably it was also like, it's a $10,000 option. Every farmer's got this.
Right. So one of the features that Casey mentioned was the roof. So I have a picture here. I found a really good picture. So yeah, what you don't see here, and what you kind of can see, is there was a bar coming through the front, just like the one in the back you can see is permanent, unremovable.
Yep.
There was a bar here in the front, and that led to 4 glass pieces. I mean, even when the glass pieces are there, the view through the roof is phenomenal.
It is. Yeah, once you remove the T-tops, you can remove that bar.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know the bar was removable too.
Oh, yeah.
Just the front one.
Off, okay.
Just the front one, not the back.
Yeah, the back one's permanent. And then it's got a very definite lunar theme to it. Like your driver's left footrest is Neil Armstrong's boot from the moon.
Yeah, it's the boot print. I actually thought that was really cool. I don't know what the connection is to the moon specifically with the Hummer, but it doesn't matter. It's coming out, just after the 50th anniversary of that, and they wanted to some kind of high-tech feel, and yet also something that appeals to people my age, 50 plus, and who have money to afford this kind of thing. And I think they nailed it with that.
Oh yes, and it has some features I thought were kind of nifty. Like all three of the back seats are actually, the seat backs are compartments that you can store stuff in, like your toe straps or your flares or whatever. And the bed is a composite bed, and they did have an actual prototype. I just figured that the prototype was doing the driving. The prototype was sitting there being touched by the YouTubers. It has this nice, for off-roading, it has this nice suspension feature where it can just pick up 16 extra inches. Just, there you go. The first editions come with, I think, a 35-inch tire, and you can option it up to a 37 if I've got the numbers right.
That is huge.
It is huge.
Just for a moment. I thought like 22-inch tires were big, and now you're saying, what?
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the base is like 28.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eat lug nuts.
Well,
I feel faintly bad because I've been watching the video for the Hummer and looking over the images, and I hate to tell you what it reminds me of, but Russell, do you mind if I share something?
He's begging for it.
please.
Oh,
Like that, I'm
wow,
sorry.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks like a big overhyped testosterone-soaked version of this. Like if you dipped it in steroids, this little Dutton surf thing, you'd get today's electronic Hummer.
And that is 4-wheel drive. So,
It does have a moonroof, a sunroof,
And you
and
can
removable.
or a duck can walk off with it. I don't know, whatever.
Right.
Or crabs.
So the one that we saw is called the Hummer EV1 Edition. Or sorry, the EV Edition 1. Sorry.
Okay, stop.
They did that on
Yeah,
purpose?
I was gonna say, don't.
Yeah, we have to talk about that. This is
Right?
General Motors, the company that made the EV1, and now to put this in their name, that cannot be just a coincidence.
You saw me make the mistake. They did this shit on purpose.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's why I had to stop it right there.
Right.
I want to hear what Chelsea has to say.
Somewhere Chelsea Sexton is going, oh God, the pain.
Yes, I'm sorry, Chelsea.
Right.
Yes,
He was
the
honest with
EV1.
saying I did not do that on purpose. So it'll be
That
available in the
little
fall.
sporty thing, and now it's in very much the opposite of this style-wise, as a similar. Oh man.
Yeah, it'll be available in the fall of 2021. It'll be a tri-motor design, so you'll have two rear motors. They'll be back-to-back, so they'll have the half shafts going straight out like that, like some other electric pickups that we've seen, except for the one that had the in-wheel motors, which I don't know how well that will last. We'll see. And it's got 1,000 horsepower, as I said, 11,500 foot-pounds of torque, and 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, for something that big to have a 0 to 60, I mean,
Yes.
most trucks have 7 or 8 or a second 0 to 60 at best. So this is high performance.
And
It
those
is.
are not low resistance rolling tires.
No, they're off-road rock
high
crawlers.
resistance.
Yeah.
They're very
they're-
expensive tires. They're going to get replaced frequently.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're,
When
they're
you're
claiming.
spending $100K on a car.
So is this?
I didn't get to the
set a
price yet.
measure
You're going to bust
of
my.
how many miles per kilowatt hour? Is it how many kilowatt hours per mile?
Yes,
Yes, it's a Hummer.
it is. Right.
So they're claiming 350 plus miles of range, and it includes such EV features as Watts to Freedom, Extreme Off-Road Package. With this Extreme Off-Road Package, you can look under your truck, and you can see kind of like the Raptor has, where you can look down off of the nose, but you're not looking down off the nose. You're looking straight under the truck from the front and the back. It's got a surround view system where you can dial in your camera from the command center.
I thought that was a cool feature. If you
I thought it was
want
really
to
cool.
go rock crawling, you need to be able to see the ground under to see if you're gonna, bottom out. And this having those views right there in the cab, that's great. That's better than kicking your passenger out and making them go, I don't know, wait, a little more to the left.
Or worse, if you're alone and go off the beaten path on, like, say, there's a tree in the road and you go too far or something.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So I'm sorry, Casey, you were talking specs, and I just threw up the.
Perfect. So you guys can see what I see. The 350 kilowatt charging, that's neat. It's cool. They were really bragging to the YouTubers about their wireless battery, Inside of their battery modules are pouch cells, so I'm not sure that they're really wireless. I think that the modules just happen to be like conductive bus bars. So that seemed like some marketing puffery to me.
The wireless part is just like the battery telemetry stuff. It's not.
Oh, just the telemetry. Okay.
Charging or anything like that. No.
Well, no, I didn't think it was induction or anything. I thought that they were bragging about how they don't have any wires going between the modules, but inside of the modules would be wires.
Yeah, it's not Nikola Tesla wireless electricity.
That would be sharp. If only they hadn't run him off as a warlock, we could have been so much further along than we are today.
Yeah. So I mean, anything like that reduces some of the wiring for that you don't need, because now we have modern, reliable wireless. That's a great idea.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's got modules that connect via bus bars. It is nifty that they're connecting wirelessly to read them, but is that even necessary?
I'm going to agree with Patrick, but I'm also gonna hope that the wireless technology works better than my Bluetooth, because my Bluetooth speaker is a pain in the ass.
Right. Yes. You don't want to be going in and getting new transmitters and receivers all the time just because I don't know how much juice is in my battery. You won't tell me.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's inconvenient, isn't it?
Right. So these modules are cooled from the bottom plate, kind of like the Bolt EV, but as modules instead of pouches, and they're double stacked, kind of like the Tesla Roadster concept where they're double stacked, and apparently it only comes in white. I didn't see that before either. And so they've got 3 other trims. They've got another one with tri-motors, less range, less horsepower, a dual motor option, which, again, less range, less price, blah, blah. And then their base model is not rear-wheel drive only like everybody else's that doesn't have in-wheel motors. Their base model is a dual motor. Now, as Patrick alluded to, and you probably saw on the screen, the addition is $112,000, $595. So yeah,
which is irrelevant because you can't buy them.
You can't buy one. If it mattered, you've already got it.
Yeah.
So what you would be looking at for 2022, so 2 years from now, you're looking at, because it's the fall of 2022, you're looking at the Hummer EV3X. They're doing this on purpose.
Okay, so you said 3X, but when I look at it, the 3 is a superscript. So is that supposed to be
Cube X?
EV cubed?
Yeah.
Cube 3 times?
Right. Yeah. Come on, really?
It's the EV3. The EV1 one is the EV2, and this is the 3rd time they come back to the table.
And okay, yeah.
All of a sudden, it's an Abbott and Costello sketch.
And why is the 3X available before the 2X?
Because the 3X has 3 motors and the 2X has 2 motors.
Oh.
But the 2 has 2 motors too, so why the X?
Because
all
there's
questions
and then the 2X.
So there's no longer extreme.
You pay $20,000, no, $10,000 more for the X.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I got it.
Cool.
So I'm putting this back up here. The 2X does have 300-mile range.
Yeah.
And the 2 only has 250. So
extra
the X
range
is the extra 50.
Oh, come on.
And I guess
I don't know.
So the X has
$10,000 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4-wheel
Made
steering.
with chemical
And the
X.
four-wheel
That's why
steering.
the X at the end of it.
They all have GM Super Cruise available capability, and they were very braggadocious about how their Super Cruise can now change lanes on its own, like some other vehicles we've seen, not just from one manufacturer either. As well as
my car can change lanes on its own. All I have to do is let go of the wheel, and eventually it will change lanes.
change lanes properly, like some other manufacturers have shown us, as well as one third-party add-in board manufacturer.
The asterisk throws me off every time.
I just want Tony to put out an alert anytime he drives.
He'll be the one in the slow lane. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions for the panel about this.
Go ahead.
Couple of questions.
Anybody think this is not going to come out next fall? Georgia says no. Everybody else is either agreeing or not.
I'm really on the
limited
fence.
quantity.
Late fall. It won't
Coin
be.
toss? Coin toss.
I think it will be after Thanksgiving next year.
Oh, they promised that. I bet you it'd be like after Christmas, kind of like the Model X delivery, just at the last minute.
Yeah, I was just going to say
Oh,
that
so
was
we're going to see a lot of commercials
New
with the
Year's
Hummer
Eve
with
at
a giant
11
red bow on it for
Yeah.
Christmas.
I mean,
We're gonna see all those.
GM does know how to build an electric vehicle. They know how to build a truck. They've got a gazillion engineers and factories, so they might be able to pull it off more than a Rivian or a startup, I would think.
But here's the thing, though. When I discovered that what we saw was not the real vehicle, they haven't even designed the truck yet. This is the concept of the concept. They have one hand-built thing, and they haven't even got
that sounds
tools
familiar.
to prototyping.
Oh
Right?
my
I'm
God.
gonna also,
All right.
I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
an additional reason why I don't believe it's gonna be on the market when they say. And
COVID?
it has nothing to do with their experience in building cars. I'm thinking that they're looking at the markets right now, they're looking at our economy, and they're saying to themselves, will we have enough people who are willing to take on a $112,000 car debt based on what's going on now, what we can project into the time frame when we want to release this vehicle. So they may be willing to put a date out there now with the release of this prototype and get the hype rolling, but I'm thinking they're going to go, do we want to ramp up production on this and take all that expense to have something that we release when we're still going to be in a not so great market for an expensive boner extension like this machine.
You bring up a good point, though, with the sold out. Is that sold out to customers? Have they hand raised with $1,000? Have they just said, I want to buy it? Or is it the dealership? Because they have to buy whatever is shoved down their throats. But the vehicle might not be sold through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good point.
I don't think if you're buying a vehicle this expensive, the economy ebbs and flows, and it's just a decimal point in your net worth. So I don't think that they're worried about that. But I do agree that they're just going to release a few probably next year, and it'll be the year after when they have any significant sort of volume. And a vehicle like this is pretty niche anyway, so I don't know what kind of volume they're expecting. They didn't say how big the battery pack was. They didn't say.
Yeah, they said it's north of 200.
Right.
Yeah, over 200
and is that
kilowatt
true
hours.
for all of them? I mean, because this one has
not.
300 miles and this one only has 250. So which one is north of 200 kilowatt hours?
But the one with 250 also has road tires and not off-road chunkers.
Which should mean more efficiency, more miles per watt hour, and yet it has less range. So
because it has a smaller battery.
It must have a smaller battery. But that seems like a pretty vital statistic of.
But they don't know yet. It's not designed.
I don't want to pick apart.
Right.
There was a ton of information that GM did not provide, as is not unusual in these concept launches in this sort of it's a hype event, right? We're talking about the concept vehicle isn't going to come out for another year. A production vehicle, as Patrick very correctly mentioned, we won't see for probably 2 years. So a lot of this is still very much up in the air.
You know, they should have started small and come out with like an EV Aztec.
Oh my God.
That would sell well. They did do one thing right here, though. I mean, this will go great for folks who have an allergy to California and have never heard of Rivian, Bollinger, or they don't know if they want a work truck from dropping their name already. Lordstown, yes. Or they don't, like me, don't believe that the in-wheel motors might have the longevity from such a small company.
They did do one thing right. You know, we talked a lot of stuff was what was, everything that's, changed from the Hummer. This isn't the old Hummer. This is the electric version, and it's new and it's fresh. One thing they did keep, with the current, I think this is important to point out, is just like the previous Hummers, this is extremely inefficient.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
you gotta honor tradition.
200 kilowatt hour pack expected to get 350 mile range. If you compare that to Rivian, who's saying 180 kilowatt hour pack, which is smaller, expected to get 400 miles, then yeah, they did a really great thing here with the Hummer by giving you a bigger pack and less range.
Absolutely.
Right. And just like the previous Hummer, I mean, it's big, it's expensive, and it's stupid. I'm just going to say it.
How many are you going to buy, Tony?
Oh, at least 4. I'm just waiting for the day that somebody rolls up next to me in one of these and yells, "In your face, libtard."
And then tries to roll coal.
And then like a fake rolling coal generator to.
Right, yeah.
Exactly. That'll be the first accessory that the smart OEM's going to make, is the rolling coal generator for the electric Hummer.
I think
they'll just vape into the fake smokestack.
Throw briquettes.
I hope they have something on the Barbie.
It'll be like a little dash light. You forgot to put another 50-pound bag of briquettes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One more feature.
Yes,
on those
sir.
cameras on the bottom, because they're on the bottom, they're likely to get covered in mud and dirt and all that stuff. And GM thought of that, and they have it squirts water from your windshield wiper reservoir. Yeah, and that is a great idea. I live here in Oregon, and it rains a lot, and my backup camera often gets covered, and then I can't see to back up. And sure, I can go out and wipe it off, but if I just had a little button that would squirt some water on that and clear it off, or whatever, a squirt of air or whatever, I would love to have a feature like that. So hopefully after GM releases this, some other vehicle manufacturers will do the same to their cameras. And
Nissan's got it today.
Oh, that's going to be the next thing when I pull up to a stoplight. Some homeless man is going to get out and clean my rearview camera and ask me for $1.